Probably front or second, one of them.
First and second. You went straight backstage right after the race. Did you meet with Dana? So, how did that meet you?
Yeah, I had a talk with Dana. We definitely talked about what I wanted to talk about. Me and Amanda Nunes meeting up in the future. He said it's definitely possible. Said that we have to figure out the weight classes and everything, but it's definitely possible, and I'm ready to go whenever he's ready and she's ready.
What weight class would you like to be at?
Would I like to be at, or what do I think is fair?
Both.
I have belts at 168. I'm undisputed at 160. My next fight is at 154. I'm good at 155, but if I have to go down to 145 to make it happen, or even have a fight at 150, that will make me happy. But I also know that she fights at 145 and 135.
How difficult would that be for you?
Losing weight to go to any weight class is difficult. Just make it a little bit more with the extra pounds. But I know that with the discipline and with the hard work, it can get done.
Has he spoken to, or did he relay a conversation that he had with Amanda as far as her interest in the bout?
You know what he said? He said that Amanda would do anything. She feels she is the GOAT in MMA, and I'm the GOAT in boxing, and it'd be one of the biggest matches in boxing history. I think that you've never seen two women who are young, in their prime, hungry, and who just don't want to lose. So I think that me and her facing each other would be one of those fights that people will really see, like fireworks and stuff like that.
Just give us an idea, how long have you been in contact with Dana White about this potential fight with you and Amanda Nunes?
All I do is train, eat, and sleep. My
Right.
manager has been in contact with Dana.
Right.
He spoke with me a few times, but really after Amanda beat Chris Cyborg, it like crossed my mind. But then you have all these questions: are you going to go to MMA? Do you want to bring her to boxing? And it was something that me and my team had to talk about. And of course, for me, boxing is my passion. I would love to do it in the ring, but I'm also a fair person. I'm fair game. If she come to my world, I'll be more than welcome to come to her world.
So is that the best way to do it? Have her come to boxing and then you do a rematch in MMA?
Absolutely.
How confident are you that she's going to win tonight? And if she doesn't, how would you feel about facing Jermaine Durant?
First and foremost, Amanda Nunes is a winner. She's tough. She is one of the girls that you have nightmares about if you have to get in the ring with her. And I respect that. So I do think that tonight she's going to win. The girl she's fighting against is tough. I don't really know much about her, but I want to fight the best, and that's it.
If Amanda was to lose, would you still want to fight her? Or is it, because obviously she's created a big name for herself in this sport.
It'll kind of be like the torch would get passed over. Like I said, I want to fight the best. I mean, it's not like, oh, if she loses, then nobody cares about her. She still, was the champ, and what they say, once the champ, always the champ. It doesn't mean that just because she lost one fight that she's not good anymore, that just this fight wasn't her time. Chris Cyborg, when she fought against Amanda Nunes, it wasn't her time. Now she's doing big things in Bellator.
We see a lot of MMA people.
Just an MMA match and not boxing? Would you be willing to do just MMA?
Say it again?
Would you be willing to do just an MMA match?
Why would I do that?
I asked because
I'm
at
like-
Media Day, Nunes had said she wants you to come to her world as she's an MMA fighter, she's not a boxer.
Well, I'm a boxer. I'm not an MMA fighter. So
She was open to boxing.
I don't sound open to MMA, but I'm willing to give her that respect and learn it. And like I said, do something bigger than what Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather did. Conor went to Floyd's world, and I'm willing to have her come to my world, but also come back, because I don't think either is an easy win for either of us. I feel like boxing is more in my favor, but Amanda Nunes can box also. Me, I don't know how to wrestle or kick or jiu-jitsu, so I'm coming in there kind of just to my left and my right, and she's coming in with her left, her right, her leg, her knee, her elbow, and I don't know any of that stuff, but if you give me the time to learn it, I could give her a hell of a fight in MMA.
What does it say about you that we see so many MMA fighters want to go to boxing? What does it say about you that no boxers particularly want to come here, but you're willing to do so?
It tells you that I'm 24, I'm young, and I'm hungry, and I'm the GOAT. I'm the greatest one of all time in boxing, undefeated, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. I think I'm an 8-time world champion. I don't lost count of how many belts I have. January 10th, I'll be the fastest boxer to become a 3-time division world champion. faster than Lomachenko. He did it in 12 fights. I'm about to do it in 10. It just shows you that I just really want to know who's the best, who's the baddest, and if it's Amanda, then we have to put it to the test.
Is the fact you want to fight Amanda next, is that an indicator that you've achieved everything you can in the sport of boxing? Have you cleared everything out now in boxing, and that's why you're looking to MMA for the next big fight?
I actually have 2 fights. I fight January 10th, and then I have a fight in the middle of the year next year, and probably some more boxing matches after that. So, have I beat the top people in boxing? Yes, but there's always somebody new, up and coming, somebody who's willing to step in there and to become a world champion. Same thing for Amanda, but I think between me and her, we are the best.
So
we're the best.
If you could put a time frame on when this would happen, when would it happen ideally?
I mean, for the boxing match can happen, I mean, mid next year, end of next year. MMA match can happen a year after that. It's just about whenever we get a deal signed and sealed, then they let me know how much time I have to get ready to get it inside the octagon. And I'm not talking about 6 months or a year, but give me actual time where I can have a chance. Like, I feel like I have a chance now, but once we go to the ground and stuff, I have to learn that. And I know that me being an Olympic athlete, I know that I can learn different sports and catch on quicker than just a regular person.
During this meeting, was there any discussion of venue?
No.
Potential venue?
No.
Okay, and if you were to start training MMA, have you thought about what camp you would work with?
You know what? I like Top Team in Miami. I have a lot of friends down there.
Good choice.
I know a lot of the coaches already. I'm kind of already been in the MMA world. I have a lot of friends just through social media. Like, social media makes it easy to be friends with anybody. So I've already reached out to so many people to just like, hey, show me this. I like how you do that. And everybody always wants me to show them some of my boxing skills. So it's a good trade deal for me, and I'm willing to start learning whenever we get something set in stone.
There are a lot of MMA fighters that are actually very underrated as boxers, and I know you've probably trained with some of them. Can you give me some feedback on what it's like to go pure boxing with a top-level MMA fighter?
MMA fighters are tough. That's one thing, but I feel like just like when you, example, Amanda Nunes is I think she's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. In boxing, I'm a black belt. if we had belts, I've been boxing since I was 11 years old. Now I'm 24. I've been to 2 Olympic Games, a bunch of World Championships, Pan American Games, and so with MMA, it's like if you don't have good boxing skills, you can always go to your second option and your third option. But in boxing, if you can't box, you just can't box. So that's the difference. But a lot of MMA guys are decent with their hands, but when it comes to the actual, fighting when they're tired, buying the feints, actually using the jab as an actual punch and not just something just to put out there, it's a different game in boxing than it is MMA. It's like apples and oranges.
From your understanding of these meetings your team have had with Dana, if you could put a number on how likely this is going to happen, say out of a percentage out of 100, how likely are we going to see you versus Amanda?
I mean, I would say about 80 right now. I would say about 80.
Yeah.
I feel like Amanda is, she is as confident as I am. And if her desire gets to where she really wants to prove that she's number one and like the fans really demand it, I believe that we will fight, and we will have to see who is the best fighter.
Would you expect this to be your biggest purse ever if this fight gets made?
I mean, first of all, if I get in any MMA ring, I expect my biggest purse because I'm going in there with the disadvantage. But just as far as in my makeup running, but as far as in boxing, every fight my purse gets bigger. Every fight. So of course I want it to be bigger, and I think that me and her it'd be both our biggest paydays for sure.
Are you able to compare the scale of the 2 sports side by side, women's boxing versus women's MMA? How do they stack up side by side, do you think?
It depends on what they're doing.
Popularity and scale of the top athletes in the sport, how much exposure you get compared to how much exposure Amanda gets?
Yeah, in MMA they get way more exposure than the women fighters. But I'm one of the women who are at the top, who fight main event on Showtime, who actually get paid a decent purse. And I'm like the trailblazer right now. We have also Katie Taylor, who's also she's a trailblazer. And in women's boxing we are growing, but we have not gotten to where women MMA are. I think that as far as in our skills, our work ethic, our credentials, we have all that. In MMA, they just do a better job in promoting the fights. Everything is fair and equal, and in boxing it's not. And I think that time has to just continue to keep going. You have to have more fighters like myself who's willing to, step up and step out and continue to be great. And I think that women's boxing is really on their way. And if women's boxing is on their way, I know I'm on my way for sure. So it's all getting worked out, and we have a lot of great fighters coming up.
You mentioned 145 and 150. How realistic is 145 for you, and how much time do you think you would need if that was where it had to be?
Well, I'm fighting at 154 January 10th. So if I had to be fighting at 147, maybe I had to cut off an ass cheek or something. But it's definitely possible. But I've always said to myself, there are a lot of things that I'll give up for boxing. I'll give up chicken, I'll give up macaroni, I'll give up yams, but I'm not going to give up my ass. So 50 would be great. For sure. Say it again.
You ever hit anything with 4 ounce gloves before?
I think my little video hand is about a 4 ounce. I've been in a couple street fights, so yeah. Other than that, no, I actually train with 16 ounce gloves, and I fight in 10 ounce gloves, and that explains how fast my hands are. And if they put me in 4 ounce gloves, they'll be calling me Muhammad Ali, because these hands will be floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee.